Jurassic Saga has come to a close with Jurassic World Dominion hitting theaters this past weekend. So today we're going to stop and rank all 6 Jurassic Park films from the worst to the best. Hi, my name is Sean, and I love to talk about movies and TV way too much. With that in mind, go ahead and join me down below in the comment section. Share your ranking of all 6 films in the Jurassic Park franchise. My list isn't the right list, it's just my list, and I would love to see yours. One more thing before we get started, this video is brought to you by Audible. You can get a free audiobook of your choice by signing up for a free 30-day trial of Audible at audibletrial.com/Sean Chandler. I am a massive fan of Audible. Last month, I re-listened to Jurassic Park on Audible. I am currently re-listening to The Lost World on Audible, and you can get a free audiobook of your choice from Audible by signing up for that free trial at audibletrial.com/Sean Chandler. And let's get started. In last place, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Now, this is a film that I feel like fundamentally doesn't understand why people watch these movies. People flock to the Jurassic franchise to see dinosaurs brought back to life through movie magic. We want to see dinosaurs alive and thriving in our world, not going extinct and dying. And there's a 15-minute stretch of this movie where dinosaurs are running for their lives, drowning, and being burnt to death by lava.
Please stop it now, turn it off.
And for the ones that did survive, then a sadist starts ripping their teeth out while they're chained to the ground.
Stop it!
Oh yeah, and right before all of that, Blue gets shot and nearly dies.
Stop it!
I get that you need conflict and villains and bad things will happen in a Jurassic World film, but I simply don't want to see dinosaurs treated horribly. It's not entertaining to me. From there, it just adds in a bunch of ideas that are just a strange direction to take the franchise. So you have a volcano going off on the island, so we have to evacuate the dinosaurs just for them to be sold to terrorists? And then we have a plot line about genetically engineering a new raptor that chases lasers?
That's a laser raptor. I thought they went extinct thousands of years ago.
And what makes all this so frustrating is that the director himself did the best job of delivering actual thrills in this franchise since the Steven Spielberg directed movies. He was able to create these tense situations where you actually felt the looming danger, but he was shackled to a story and a script that just, I don't think, fit this franchise at all. In 5th place, Jurassic World Dominion, a movie that, for better or worse, does follow up on a number of plot lines from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, but at best feels like fun Jurassic World fan fiction, not a proper entry into this franchise. The movie feels like they wrote a wish list of ideas that they wanted to work into a Jurassic film on a whiteboard, and then they just kind of cobbled together a plot to try and find excuses to make all of this happen. So all of a sudden, Grant and Sadler are involved in corporate espionage at the evil Apple headquarters building.
That is one big pile of shit.
All of a sudden, a bunch of the lingering cast members from the previous 2 Jurassic World films have been recruited to the CIA.
You serious?
And all of a sudden, laser-guided raptors,
That's a laser raptor.
are being sold on the black market in Malta.
Why?
So that we can have the movie with all these ridiculous situations. And so Owen can recreate one of the chase scenes from the Bourne Ultimatum, except with raptors. This movie was sold on the idea of dinosaurs among us. The prologue they put out for this movie a year ago, a T-Rex actually coming into a drive-in movie theater, people on the run. They sold the movie on dinosaurs among us. And then the actual plot of this movie is about locusts and corporate espionage at a preserve away from everything.
Not a great plan.
It also suffers from being a blockbuster in the post-MCU world. And what I mean by that is suddenly there has to be a joke every 10 seconds. Every time we're in the middle of a tense situation, the movie won't let us sit in the tension, the danger, on the edge of our seat. It has to throw a joke in. So when you put it all together, you got a movie that didn't bore me, it did entertain me, but it was an utter waste of the basic concept, the basic premise that they sold to us in the marketing, and a movie filled with way too many dumb decisions and cheap jokes. Next up, Jurassic Park 3. Now, this is a movie that had a highly troubled production. They struggled to come up with a script that everyone was happy with. This led to a scenario where they had hired everyone, they'd built all the sets, and then they decided to do a rewrite 6 weeks before they started shooting the film. And I think you can tell that when you watch the movie. It has a very streamlined story. There's plot lines that go highly unexplored, and the movie comes to a sudden, abrupt ending with one scene out of the blue. All of that goes back to the script issues that they had. Add to that, you have some of the most annoying characters in the entire franchise with the married couple.
What's a bad idea?
And some of the goofiest moments in the entire franchise.
Alan.
Alan.
But at its core, I think it captures what draws us to these films. And that is to say that it's all about how dinosaurs are these captivating creatures that are sights to be seen, but they're also incredibly dangerous. It takes us off on this adventure led by Alan Grant, and while he's not in as compelling of a movie, he's still a compelling character. He's in his element where he's the expert, where he knows what he's doing, unlike in Dominion, where he's a lonely old man chasing after his old girlfriend, dropped into a highly advanced technical environment where his skill sets don't apply. No, here, he's an adventurer in his prime, saving lives. Add to that, it's a highly efficient film because of that streamlined story. It gets to the point quickly. It takes us through this roller coaster ride, going through a park filled with dinosaurs or a preserve filled with dinosaurs, and we get to the end before it outstays its welcome, though it does rush the end to make all of this happen. It's not a particularly good Jurassic Park film,
Alan.
but it does capture what these movies are about. It does have a great lead character, and while Joe Johnston didn't have a good script to work with, he is a good director for this type of film. Real quick before I give you my top 3, be sure to join me down below in the comment section. Share your ranking of the Jurassic Park or Jurassic World films. My list isn't the right list. It's just my list, and I would love to see yours. Also, if you love these types of rankings, I've ranked almost all of the big, gigantic, major franchises. You can check them out here in this playlist. We got Harry Potter, we got Marvel, we got DC, we got Star Wars, all of that fun stuff, and so much more right up there. In third place, Jurassic Park, The Lost World. Now, this has always been a bit of an odd film for me because on paper, it has everything it's supposed to have. Top tier director? Check. Based off a book from a top tier author? Check. Adapted by a top tier screenwriter? Check. Great cast? Check. Dinosaurs? Check. It has everything it's supposed to have except a compelling central narrative, and instead we get a series of underdeveloped subplots. So Julianne Moore's character is in the movie to research the dinosaurs. But the movie's not about researching the dinosaurs. Ian Malcolm is in the film to rescue Julianne Moore, the Sarah character. But she doesn't want to be rescued, and the movie's not about her being rescued. Vince Vaughn is in the movie as this animal rights activist to sabotage the efforts of the other team. But the movie's not really about his character and his adventure to sabotage the other characters. Then it becomes a survival film about trying to get off the island. But the movie doesn't end when they get off the island. Then the movie is suddenly about a T-Rex loose in San Diego. But that wasn't set up to be what this movie was about at all in the first 2 acts of the film. The movie keeps setting up new motivations, new objectives, but none of them are what the movie is actually about. So it's a film that I've never been able to fully connect with. And at the same time, because you have a top-notch director, screenwriter, cast, crew, all that fun stuff, the individual sequences themselves are great. It's filled with edge-of-your-seat thrills. The RV rescue is amazing. The part where Julianne Moore's laying on the glass and it's slowly cracking, classic Spielberg. The scene where the people are running for their lives and you see the velociraptors slowly making their way through the fields at them, amazing Spielberg sequence. But because you don't care enough about the characters, because the story isn't quite there, it never works as well as it should. To me, this feels like a classic example of a great director, a great screenwriter, a great cast doing the best they can with a story that's not really there. Our runner-up, Jurassic World. To me, this is a big, dumb, fun blockbuster. I call them Taco Bell movies. They're cinematic fast food. You know they're not good for you. You know they're not nutritious, but they sure are fun to eat. And this to me is my cinematic junk food. It takes the idea of what if Jurassic Park actually opened, it's working, it's running, and then takes it to all sorts of ludicrous places that are an awful lot of fun for me to watch. And some of that is the fact that they full-blown turn the dinosaur franchise into a monster franchise by genetically engineering a new dinosaur with all sorts of nonsensical powers just so all these crazy things can happen. Some of that's because we've turned Chris Pratt into an actual dinosaur trainer, and so he's trained his velociraptors to be his pet dogs, all leading to a sequence where he legitimately rides on a motorcycle with a pack of velociraptors around him, or of course, the simple fact that you lead to the third act of this movie where you have a full-blown boss fight where Chris Pratt teams up with some velociraptors and a T-Rex to fight the Indominus Rex. And it's big, it's outrageous, it's ludicrous, and it sure is an awful lot of fun to watch. Indefensible at the same time. But as a one-off idea of let's do this Jurassic Park sequel where the park is actually open and things go bananas, I have a lot of fun with this one. But in first place is Jurassic Park, and it's not even close. It is head and shoulders way better than every other movie in this franchise. It is one of the great blockbusters of all time because it is escapist fun, but it's also built on a great sci-fi concept.
You did it. You crazy son of a bitch, you did.
Where you hear this idea about what if you were able to harvest DNA from mosquitoes trapped in amber, and it tickles your brain just enough where you go, that's kind of interesting. What if you could do that? Is that possible? That's a really smart, clever idea. And then it explores the ramifications of this tech through an interesting set of characters who each have a different perspective on it. So John Hammond wants to make something real that's fantastic, and he also, of course, wants to make money, and so he just has this optimistic idea, and he keeps overlooking all the dangers of it. You have the chaosotician that only sees these horrible dangers of everything that could come with this. The lawyer just sees dollar signs at this incredible achievement, and then you have these scientists who are dinosaur lovers who love that they can finally see dinosaurs. But they also know this is an incredibly dangerous idea, and you take those characters and you put them in this interesting scenario, and it makes the entire film compelling.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
I mean, the dinosaurs don't get loose until halfway through the movie, and then in the back half of the film, you have Steven Spielberg at the height of his game, delivering great thrills, edge-of-your-seat sequences, memorable moments. Everything is so perfectly done to be thrilling, to be exciting, to be memorable, to be iconic. It might be escapist fun, but it's also smart, and it's also well written, and it has great characters. It is at the top of its field, so without a doubt, without question, without competition in this ranking, it comes in at number 1. If you enjoyed this video, I've got more like it. You can check out my other top franchise rankings right over there. You can check out my reviews of each of the Jurassic Park films in that playlist right down there. Thank you so much for watching, and keep talking movies too much.